let's play a game of how many things I can break in the shortest amount of time before an event. I didn't break them technically, it broke. It's 52 years old, give it a break. The car has broken a couple of things, so I'm gonna do some maintenance on it in the next couple of days and try and get it up to spec for a grip and slide event hosted by Skid Control out at Lakeside Raceway. Lakeside is going to be a first. It'll be pretty cool. It'll be out on the go-kart track, and I think they partially wet down some of the track that way. It's just easy to learn how to drift for beginners and to give people a bit of a feel of what it's like when your car's sliding around. I want to go out there because I want to weld the diff on the 240Z and do a whole bunch of other stuff and see how a really old school Z goes and if the Z will drift. If you've never been in a Z, they're a very unique car to drive. They are very heavy, they are very old, they're very can be loud, they stink all the time, like a whole bunch of stuff. Not really bad smells, but you know, you can smell the gearbox, you can smell the diff, you can smell the engine, you can smell the fuel, everything smells.
You know the driver.
You can probably smell the driver. Yeah, no, it's a great car. It's old, it's rusty, it's fun. Not like dangerously rusty, but you know, it's got a bit of surface rust and stuff. It's got enough little bits of rust that I'm probably going to get puddles in my wheel wells because there's a couple little rust holes in there. I don't know if I should put garbage bags down first before I do the event, just to try to keep the water out, or if I just send it, who cares? It's gonna get wet anyway. What else have we been up to? Manifold. Yes, let's get that. So, just pulled the manifold off the car. This is my current one on the car, and this is the new one I've just picked up. I don't know if they're Hurricane extractors or not, or if they're Hurricane. I don't know. Hurricane is usually blue, and neither of them have been blue in the past. This one, we've had catastrophic failure. It decided to split the manifold on me the other day. It slowly got progressively worse. I don't know if the heat cycles of using the car a lot more than the previous owners and just driving it daily kind of done it to it, or if it was just an old manifold, who knows. This one's slightly different. You can notice the flange lineups are different. Where the extractors come 2 to 1 is different. Down here, and obviously the lengths are different. So I might have a little bit of trouble lining up the flange, because you can see it goes 2 to 1 way before the new ones do. I have got it a little off the ground here, but look at the profile of the 2 manifolds. We'll be getting around to getting this rear tip off this Varex, because no, not a fan. It's gotta go. It just doesn't look right on a Z. Oh, I just dropped my phone. I hate it when that happens. Driving around lately, it has been giving me a bit of a hard time. So not only did the manifold crack, but my door lock also randomly decided to break. You may have seen in previous vlogs, I had to Oki strap the door shut to do a mountain run because I wanted to go driving pretty bad. So you gotta do what you gotta do. Not only did I have problems with my door, but my windows also are not liking shutting lately. So I was trying to fix my windows, but at the same time, my door window winders got replaced at some point by the previous owner into these universal aluminium Monza things that stripped out the spline on the inside of the winders. And these take quite a lot to wind up and down, so just kept spinning, free spinning. An absolute nightmare to try and drive this car around as a daily and try and get the windows up and down. So I had to fix that. Problem was, because the driver's one got stripped at some point, that they would eraldite the aluminium Monza winders onto the spline here. So this is before we got it off. And the spline is absolutely murdered. So I've had to again hit up Paul and ask him for some Z parts, which thank God he has a million of. Crazy Z collection. You'll probably never see it on my vlogs because he's a very private guy, but great dude, so many Z stuff, so much Z knowledge and parts. It's very, very handy to have a guy like him still floating around in the scene and still happy and willing to talk to kind of the younger generation and kind of impart the knowledge that he has and he's learned over the years, which is sick. Other stuff I decided to get, because Paul's a legend. You would know that we have a Monster Tack in here that just kind of flops around with an LED on it, as well as the old 240Z original Speedo, which is in miles per hour. Now, I can't convert miles per hour to kilometers while I'm driving. Miles is not a thing that we use over here. So I hit up Paul for the original 260Z clusters for speedo and tachometer. That way I can replace both of these with later model 260Z in kilometer and with a proper working RPM gauge that is not 1500 RPM out and misreading. Notice 32 progress, we're getting there slowly. The RB20 is out. The JZ is currently still getting prepped. I've still got to clean all this up and paint the bay and that kind of thing as well. I decided I am going to paint it. Also decided I'm not going to go to the extent of doing tubs. I'll keep it as OEM-ish as I can, just clean it up. Fix all these really ratty looking intercooler holes. Fix the battery tray, because we don't need that. Probably do a battery reload to the boot. Got to fix my headlights. Well, ITBs. My Delortos, 40mm Delortos, off the Z at the moment. I'm going to give them a very good cleanup. You can see where the exhaust leak has been dirtying the hell out of this poor guy. Now, I do not have a clue how that car was running as good as it was. The fuel pump, way 3 times overkill. These guys, none of these were done up. So you'll see, so all of these little rubber gaskets below the carburetors were all loose as. I'm talking like 3, 4, 5 mil. Big gaps, so they were pretty much sucking in air, bypassing the carburetors and that kind of thing. It's making a mess, probably not running the car how it should be, probably changing the air fuel and all that kind of thing on it as well. So I've got some carby cleaner here. I'm gonna smash them with that, and then probably some brake cleaner. Try and tidy them back up and then re-lubricate it all, because all this is moving parts. This is my throttle. Oh, don't knock them off. I don't trust it, I don't knock this off. There we go. This is really hard to do one-handed. And then we can get a cool old school tech. I've still got to get my fuel pump into the Z, which is this guy here. I'll do that today. Got my little fittings for it as well. So, gonna go with this one. I also like the material of this one a bit better, like the solid graphite there. I find it's a little more resistant to getting blown out. Whereas this guy here is the good, cheap and nasty, but usually have to replace it every now and then. So this one will handle the exhaust moving around a bit more if I hit things and stuff being so low. Look, it's an OEM window winder. Aren't they beautiful? Better than the Monza things anyway. I did get a badge too. Check this out. I'm gonna put this guy on the bonnet. This car's for having fun. Z bonnets have their latch under there. And then they kind of come up like that. Did pull my valve cover off the other day. Looked pretty clean. It looks like this head has been either recoated or rebuilt at some stage though. It's very clean. Not on this side because we've had all those leaks, but definitely on the other side. It's almost the same color as the wheelbarrow. So this is pretty much what the guts of a Z looks like. Super simple, single overhead cam, pretty strong old motors that can take quite a beating. They also have a rather appropriate compression ratio for turboing. It would be super simple to pull the motor out of this. It'd probably take 10 minutes. Half of it's already done because the manifold's off. There's no ECU that runs this car or anything, it's all mechanical. And I'll show you the after when we're done. It's kind of the middle of winter, so it's really cold lately. But it's so cold that I've been doing this for a bit, and it's cold enough that I have an arrow indented into my finger from the Nulon can. So I cleaned the living hell out of this with a full can of carby cleaner by Nulon. a bunch of brake cleaner, 2 lots of this actually, a toothbrush, and my scrubbing brush down here, and a bit of brake cleaner over here as well. This is pretty much the best I'm going to get this without doing a rebuild. This is kind of something you'd probably pull down completely and you do a rebuild kit and you'd probably parts wash and bath all of these parts to clean them up. Cleaning them individually is very tedious and quite difficult, trying to get all the little bits of rust and dirt and grime and crap out of them. So that's about as good as they're going to get until I pull them down and do a rebuild kit on them at some stage. But they're a lot cleaner than they were before.
I'm pregnant. There you go, now it's dramatic.
There's the big, the big climactic, what do you call it?
Loki knocked me up.
I hope not. The implications of that is kind of concerning. I've got it jacked up, ready to go. The reason I didn't start...
I had a miscarriage, sorry, false alarm. Sorry guys. It came out, it's done.
Please stop it, please. So, I'm leaving the Z on its stands here because we have to fit up this manifold. The manifold comes first before the fuel pump. Fuel pump is literally 2 fittings and 2 wires, whereas this is a bit of screwing around. So that'll be on the cards in the next couple of vlogs. This one's more of a progressive couple of vlogs following the fixing of the Z to get it ready for a drifting event, to see if it drifts. We don't know if it drifts yet. And just repairing a whole bunch of things that you may or may not have ever seen before on a car. So things like carburetors, and old school NA non-fuel injected cars, and manifolds, and ancient speedometers, and ancient doors, and reverse cowl bonnets, and everything else that's not usually found on all our kind of cars like this. I really enjoy sharing these kind of things with you, mainly because who knows where we could be in 10 years. Maybe in 10 years I'm not doing cars anymore and I can look back on these, watch these with my friends, watch these with you guys and go, hey, do you remember that time that we done blah blah blah? That's kind of why I like doing this. I'm not doing it for monetization. I'm not doing it for whatever other reason other people do it for. I'm doing it because it's memories, it's car life, it's culture, it's fun, and we're not going to have these cars forever. So what happens when we don't have them? Thank you for watching. Catch you in the next one. Bye.
I'm pregnant. You said we had to redo it.
We do have to redo
It's a
it.
miscarriage, guys. Don't worry, you missed it the first time.
I've had to refilm this because my camera, as you can see, keeps losing focus.